Hey everyone, welcome back to Two Idiots Review. I'm Caleb.
I'm Hannah, and we are getting ready to talk about season 3 of Stranger Things.
You have to get ready for it first. We can't just hop into it.
We actually watched this all on July 4th.
Yeah, we can skip the whole day.
Oh, there's going to be lots of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, come back after you've seen the series.
I mean, very really quick, non-spoilery.
It was really good.
It was good.
It was
Watch
really
it.
Good. It was good. But yeah, so we watched all the episodes on July 4th, and it was actually, wasn't a difficult task. We didn't even start watching until like 1.
I know. I was thinking like, oh, we got to such a late start. There's no way we're gonna be able to do it all one day. Then all of a sudden, I was like, wait, this is the last episode. I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, we finished pretty easily, and we did, but we took like little breaks too in between. Like,
I know, because I was like cooking like, it didn't seem like a long binge.
It didn't. But yeah, so we kind of waited a few days just to kind of let everybody else catch up watching it. And we've been, we'll get to that later. Anyways, it was a good season. It was definitely. I don't know. I'm not sure if I liked it more than the previous two. That's hard to say.
I would say no. In my opinion, I would rank it as the weakest season.
Really?
But
okay.
But that's not saying like, oh, it's a bad season. It was a really good season. It's just that season 1 and 2 I thought were just that much better.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There was definitely a lot of things that I liked about this season, and then there, of course, there's things I disliked. And one of the things that I disliked, which is what I disliked about season 2, was that everybody is so separate for too long. I will say that at least like all of the kids kind of came together in like episode 4 or something like that. But like
not even because then Dustin was like separate all the way into like episode like 7 because he was off with Steve and all that.
Well, but Steve and them joined a little, but it was just like Hopper.
We don't know episodes. When you watch them all like that, they all merge together. So,
but Hopper and Joyce like didn't see their children from like the first. It was like first episode, and then it was like episode 8. Like
considering everything that's happened, you'd be like, we got to get these kids out of the town.
Well, and okay, so
or it'd be like, we need to team up with them because they always know what's up, and we don't.
Yeah, like one thing. That's what that's always like. I find like kind of mind-boggling, especially about like last season and this season. It's everybody's like, oh, we gotta, Joyce and Hopper are like, oh, we have to go and figure this out. And it's like, well, maybe you should ask the kids. Hey, you guys working on anything?
They're like Dungeons and Dragons metaphors here that are wrap everything.
Well, and especially for this season with like Joyce like with all the magnets and like all that stuff. You think she would have gone to Will and been like, hey, how you feeling? Are you all right? Are you? Anything you want to tell me? Like, what's going on?
Get the mind players back. And like, okay, well, let's
exactly.
This.
And then the fact that Hopper still was just like, oh, you're crazy. Like, double. And I was like, really, Hopper? Like, after everything that's happened, you should immediately believe anything that seems even the tiniest bit odd.
I feel like for a lot of the season, they made me. I mean, yes, they ended it where you're like, oh, Hop. But like, I feel like for most of the season, they made me not like Hopper as much as I have in previous seasons.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't have any problem with him.
Because like in season 1, like, yes, he was like, the almost like disgruntled like cop or whatever.
Rough,
and, but then, he became like the hero because like even like he was like doing everything he possibly could to find Will. And, he at first he seemed like he wasn't going to try or didn't care. But then like he was like everywhere and trying to figure it all out. And I was like, oh, like, he had like that good guy in him. And this season, like, I don't know, he was acting like a turd, like, the whole time. Like, I mean, I understand the whole thing, obviously, you want to set some boundaries with your new teenage daughter and all that, like, but, like, I don't know, the way he approached it, and then, like, he walks into the store, like, oh, like, I'm the man, like, your plan worked.
That was funny.
I mean, it was funny, but he was acting like a turd.
I don't think he was acting like a turd.
Like, him and Joyce were, like, yelling at each other the whole series, and, like, I get, there's, like, that tension there between them and all that, but it's, like, I don't know, they needed to resolve it.
She stood him up, so that's why he was being a little snappy towards her.
But they needed to wrap, like, I feel like most of the season he was just, like I said, he was a big turd.
I didn't have any problem with Hopper. I thought he was
I like Hopper as a character, but I don't know, this season they kind of did him a little,
but I don't think so. I felt like he still felt like Hopper. He was, joking around with Joyce a little bit, and they were doing that stuff in the beginning. And
threatening children. And
well, but, that's not surprising, because he's still, Eleven's supposed to still be, like, separate, like she's not, but so like the only person that she's really seeing is Mike, and he didn't want them spending too much time and getting a little too like.
So he didn't want them spending too much time with the only person she can see. So he would rather just her be all alone again, like she was in season 2.
No, he said they could still see each other. That they were seeing each other like all day, every day. It's like
well,
that's
when you only interact with 2 people.
Well,
I mean,
they could have other people come in, but anyways, so like I don't mind, I was fine with Hopper. I actually liked that 11 got to become friends more with Max.
yeah.
I kind of liked that pairing a little bit. It was nice to see her just kind of having fun and not, I mean, it didn't last for very long because then she found out stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so it was nice to kind of see the different pairing. I feel like poor Will.
that kid just had the worst.
He's had like the worst life.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, especially this season where like all he wanted to do was play Dungeons and Dragons and nobody would play with him.
He's in the Upside Down for all of season 1, like nearly died. Season 2, he was like possessed for most of the season, and then this season he's just like, all right, guys, nothing bad's happening to me. Let's play Dungeons and Dragons. They're like,
now we got girls, and he's just like,
he's like, oh,
yeah. So I felt so bad for Will. I was like, oh, poor kid. He just wants to play games.
Play some games, man.
I know.
Like, he's had to grow up so quick.
I know. But yeah, so poor Will. I liked Nancy and Jonathan kind of, they broke up for like a day, which I was like, that's not gonna, as soon as they broke up, I was like, that's not gonna last, and it didn't.
Just like 11 and
yeah.
everyone broke up for really briefly.
And apparently Lucas and Max break up a lot. She's like, he's broken up with me like 5 times.
Or more accurately, probably she broke up with him.
I mean, that's what I mean. Yeah, she broke up. But yeah, I liked Jonathan and Nancy. And I'm glad, though, that they didn't keep them separate from the kids for too long. Like, Nancy and Jonathan were doing their own investigation, and then she was like, all right, we gotta talk to Will. Like, we gotta talk to the kids. So at least they knew. They were like, we gotta include them.
And they know what fans wanted to see, which was Steve and Dustin.
And then they added in the girl who, whenever you introduce a new character in a series that is popular as this one, it can be a little tricky, and you never know how it's going to play.
Because you're like, we want to see our originals and our favorites.
Yeah, but I have to say, like, right off the bat, at first I'm kind of like, I don't know, but then she won me over very quickly.
Yeah, she was definitely a good addition.
She was a good addition. I wanted her to be with Steve. So that, like, reveal in one of the last episodes, I was like, oh. I was like, only because I liked Steve with her. Like, I felt like they made a good match. But, I like their friendship still, and I like their back and forth. Like, she calls him out on his crap, and, he realizes that he's an idiot. But,
he's no longer a cool guy Steve anymore, like he was in season 1. Now he's been hanging around Dustin too much.
Well, I feel like he lost his cool guy Steve when Jonathan beat the crap out of him in season 1. I think he kind of lost that title then. And then even in last season, when he got the crap beat out of him, it's not a season of Stranger Things if Steve doesn't get the crap kicked out of him by someone. And he did, like, twice this season.
And then it's funny when he finally, like, beat up somebody and, like, Dustin's like, you did it!
You won! Yeah, he finally like, took somebody down.
Their friendship is, like,
one of the best
things of Stranger Things.
So, when Dustin first comes back from camp, and then he goes to see Steve, and Steve just, like, like, they have, like, their little handshake, like, I don't know, it was so funny to see them being reunited.
Because their friendship is what it's all about.
And I like that when the rest of in the first episode, like, all the kids are going to see Steve, and, like, Robin, I think that's what her name is, Robin, is just like, Steve, your kids are here. And then, saying that it's weird that all of his friends are little kids.
He's like, no.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's lots of things that were, that I liked this season.
But now, on to things that we did not like. I did not like the whole storyline with the Russians.
Yeah, that's just...
I get, they've been kind of, like, dropping, like, hints in season 1 and season 2, like, oh, what if the Russians find out, blah, 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 blah. But I just thought that was just kind of, like, little, like, funny nods to the era that it was in.
Yeah,
with,
to the 80s.
The Cold War between America and Russia and all the tension between all that. I just thought they were just kind of wanting to set the time frame that's in. I mean, we know it's in the 80s, but, they wanted to kind of add that layer of it to it. But then they took it one step further in season 3 and actually had the Russians trying to get into the Upside Down. It was like the opening scene. They were trying to open the portal. But I guess I mean I would be okay with it as long maybe if I understood like why like what they were trying to do. They never really explained that. Like they had that opening scene, and I'm like, oh, like they're trying to get to the Upside Down. Like why? Like
Yeah.
is this going to be more about that? But then like it wasn't. Like they were trying to now open up the portal in Hawkins because apparently that's the only place in the world that you can open up the portal in.
But is it?
I mean, who knows? I mean, yeah, at the end, that ending scene is a whole different thing. But so yeah, so the whole they're trying to open it in Hawkins, which is why now all these weird things are happening, and the Mind Flayer's back and everything. But they resolved everything, but they never explained like what the Russians were trying to do. Like they never clarified that. Like the big bad was still the Mind Flayer, and like they were just like a means to an end. Like they were the reason why he was there, but they never explained like what their motive was. I mean,
I assume
maybe
season 4 is going to be that because with the way it ended, which we'll get to, they definitely make you. I feel like they're definitely going to be like the presence.
But it could have been just a simple explanation of like, oh, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be. Like,
I was like, that's a simple explanation.
That I was gonna say like the head person doing this thing was under the Mind Flayer, but the Mind Flayer wouldn't be present in this world if they didn't open up the portal. So I don't know. So there is no simple explanation, but like I feel like it needed, even if they explained it in season 4, I feel like they needed to have explain it, or at least have a simple some simple explanation for why they were trying to do what they were trying to do this season. Because now I'm like, it just I don't know, it didn't sit well with me because I just feel like they were thrown in there just because they're like, well, we need the portal open for these things to happen, and like who else is going to open it up? So I just felt like it was just kind of forced, and that was one of the biggest things that I didn't like about this season.
I would agree that having the Russians, it did just seem kind of odd. Like they were just kind of there. Like they didn't. I mean, other than having.
They're almost like
Terminator working for him.
They're almost like what's his name from last season, Max's brother.
Oh yeah.
He's just like an antagonist for the sake of being an antagonist, and like there's no. Although his story arc, they gave him something to do this season.
That is true. Yeah.
Like his character was much better this season because he was actually like connected to the story and actually had a purpose. Yeah,
instead of just being like maybe just like a racist like he was last season.
and like his whole story arc was actually really good to the point that even
at the end
11 being able to like go into his mind or whatever and like see like his childhood and see like
how much
all these
his dad was a dude.
And like see then I started to kind of feel a little bit bad for him, and they kill him off, and I'm like, oh.
I mean, I didn't feel bad that they killed him off. I felt like they needed to, because there was nothing that you could do with that character beyond. We don't need another douche turned good guy. We had that with Steve and it worked, but I feel like you can't just keep doing that.
I mean, I'm not saying they should have kept him alive, but they did. It wasn't just like, oh, they
it
killed
was
him
a
off,
nice
and we're
ending.
like, oh
like
yeah.
He did have a nice ending. Like he had like the arc, and then he did end up saving 11.
And they got to have that main character death in every season, and
this was he main? I mean, kind of, not really, but I feel like he had a good
and maybe Hopper probably.
So they ended his character like on a positive note in the sense that he sacrificed himself to save 11. Max actually felt bad that he died.
And we got to see that he wasn't always like, we got to see that he was, at least at one point a, happy, decent human being before his dad was, drove his mom away and did all that and beat her.
Although I feel like Billy being like as in shape as he is, he could have like just beat the crap out of his dad now if he wanted. I mean, his dad was like, a pretty decent guy. I know who the actor is.
Maybe that's what he's been working out for all the time. He's like, I'm gearing up for you.
But yeah, so they, I feel like he had a satisfying conclusion to his character. A lot of people died this season. Like nobody that. I mean, not a lot of people that we know.
Not like major characters, but people in the town.
A lot of people died.
For being such a small town, there was a lot of casualties this time around because people were turning into goo.
Yeah, they were turning into little partial mind fire pieces.
Like those first times when like the rats were doing it, and like the rats were doing it like in the first episode, and I was like, what is that? But then in that episode where like that old lady's like rat like exploded and started like crawling away, and I was like, ew. Like what is that?
But yeah, so the Mind Flayer definitely had its moments. I feel like
I really liked that scene with when 11 was like whatever she's doing, like she was like in the Upside Down, but like, you know, vision wise or whatever, and like she was talking to like the Mind Flayer who was in the body of Max's brother. I can't remember his
Billy.
name. Billy. And like, you know,
Call him the
they're
Red Power Ranger.
right, and they were having, you know, that conversation, and you know, he was pretty much revealing his evil plan to her and all that. Like, I really liked that scene. Her voice sounded like super creepy.
Yeah,
that was like the, you know, the first time that we got to have like an interaction with like the Mind Flayer. Like, it's always just been like this like mysterious like kind of thing.
Yeah,
and now it's starting to become a little bit more intelligent and a little bit more, we're starting to see a little bit more of what it's trying to do, which I mean we still don't fully understand. I mean, we know it's wanting to wipe out everything,
yeah,
but like, you know, like why, I guess, like he thinks, I know like in season 2 they kind of explained that like, you know, the Mind Flayer thinks like it's like the superior, you know, being or whatever, and wants to control all of life or something like that, but so I'm interested to see how they're going to in season 4, if it is the last season or if they decide to do a 5th season, who knows, to see how the Mind Flayer and the Russians are kind of gonna be like joining forces, or like, you know, what, you know, how that's all gonna play out, because I feel like the Mind Flayer is actually gonna be, you know, a really good villain amongst other things. Those Demogorgons back, and you know, it'll be interesting to see how they defeat it once and for all, and like, you know, how another thing. Sorry, I'm super like.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 things that I want to say before we get to the ending, but.
Oh, I mean, I'm not on the ending yet.
Yeah.
And I'm interested. I'm also kind of a little bit disappointed that they didn't touch on any of the other siblings. The number 1, number 2, number 3 through 11. If 11 was the last one, if there are 12 and 13.
I feel like she was the last one.
Probably, but you know, they introduced
9,
6, 9, 7,
8.
8. Yeah, 8. Or
I don't know. One of those. We were both like.
I think it was 8, but you know, there's a lot of different children, a lot of different things that the lab experimented on, and so I'll either bring 8 back, or preferably I'd like to see what some of the other children were and what their abilities are.
Alive.
I've always,
because she escaped, so I'm wondering if the other children survived. Like.
Maybe not. And I've always had the theory that 11's mom was number 1, but I don't know. They've never confirmed that. That's always been what I thought.
No, I mean, I don't. No, I think that they confirmed that she wasn't, like, because she was. Yeah, I think they confirmed that in season 2 that she wasn't like a child, like being.
Well, I didn't say. No, who's to say
no,
that
she
they
signed
have to
up.
be children?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they were looking for children, but yeah, she had signed up to be part of this whatever.
Well, they were experimenting, so she could have been number 1.
She could have been, I guess, but. Anyway, so I have 2 things. One, I assume 11's gonna get her powers back.
If not, it's gonna be kind of boring.
Yeah, season 4 is gonna be like,
I completely forgot she lost.
Yeah, so I assume she's gonna go back.
They even hinted at it, and it's like, they'll come back.
Like, yeah, but they didn't really show her like moving anything. Or,
no,
you know, but
that's what.
Yeah, but Mike, who cares?
said.
Mike was kind of a turd this season.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm interested to see like what they're gonna do with that, because if she doesn't get him back, you know, they pretty much have no chance. The other thing, I wish they had used Cary Elwes, and I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, more. I feel like he was underused. You can't have Wesley from The Princess Bride and then not. I mean, he was like hardly in it. He was just playing like a schmarmy like mayor, like corrupt mayor, I guess. But I would have liked to seen him be a little bit more. Like, if you're going to make him, like, a corrupt mayor, I wish they would have just made it more where he
like
was...
the dreaded Pirate Rapids?
Well, I wish they would have made it more that he was kind of more behind some of the things that happened. Like, he wasn't really.
Well,
like,
he knew about the Russians, and he
well, he
allowing them to
didn't.
be
Well,
there.
I don't think he knew about the Russians. He just said that, you know, whoever it was, they're the ones that did the mall. Like, they bought the mall, they built the mall, they're behind everything. But he, you know, so...
I thought in one of the last episodes when he was at, like, the thing or whatever, he was saying something, like, he was yelling something, and he's like, you know, those Russians are the... Blah, blah.
I don't know.
I
mean, the Terminator was working for him, but then also, I don't know if they was working for the Russians, or if it was, you know, I don't know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger lookalike.
Yeah, I mean, totally got that vibe. But now we can get to the ending. So
Hop died.
yeah, I mean, when they don't show him dying, yes, we're still here. Thank you. Neighbors are being a little loud. But yeah, so when they don't actually show the death, you can't ever believe that somebody's actually dead.
I mean, I didn't believe it right off the bat. Yeah, especially when they showed the other people being disintegrated, but they didn't show Hop, and all of a sudden, like Hop,
They were
everything
just
cleared
gone.
and Hop was just gone. I was like, he's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead. And then like the credits went up, and I was just like, you're gonna keep us like? I'm like, I know he's not dead, but the credits are going, and I'm like, I have to wait until next season to confirm that he is still alive because I know that he is. But then there was like a after credit
An
scene.
end credit scene. So I hope everybody stays at the end credits.
And then they dropped the biggest hint that he's still alive, and they were about to open up a door, and they're like, no, not the American,
the other.
Yeah. And so then they went and opened up another door and fed some Russian guy to the Demogorgon, who's back.
Yeah, apparently the Demogorgon's back.
And they know how to keep it contained because before, like, you could just open up a portal and be like, it's out.
Yeah, so I don't know if like the port, like, yeah, I have no idea. So there is obviously the biggest theory is that the American is Hopper, and they somehow got him, or the theory that he could have gone.
I feel like he jumped into the
Upside Down and then exited in Russia, like. I don't know.
We have to like travel. Do they have like planes in the Upside Down for him to fly to Russia?
There's like a big door in there that was like Russia, and he's like, I guess I'm going through that one.
I wonder what the oceans look like in the Upside Down.
It was like Nightmare Before Christmas, where he's had like all the doors, and he's just like, which one should I go into?
Because apparently they found a way to open up the portal in the Upside Down to the Upside Down in Russia because they had the Demogorgon there. And it's alive and not like dead.
They're just feeding
so the
it to
portal
people.
is open.
So there's some theories about like if it is Hopper, like how he ended up there.
Could be a lot of different.
Could be some things, but
they're probably gonna make it a very simple explanation. Just be like, I don't know,
the Russians.
He's here.
I just kept thinking like he was standing on that platform and like Joyce hadn't turned the keys yet, and I'm like, well, you have time. You could run around and like get behind the glass.
Well, the Russians were coming. They had to destroy it now.
Well, but they weren't right on top of she was still sitting there. Like he had time after he knocked out that guy because he stood there was like looking around for a little bit, and then like he finally made eye contact with Joyce and was like, okay, do it. I'm like, as soon as he punched him out, he should have been like, okay, I'm getting away from this thing. But he was like, oh, let me look. Oh, wow, this looks amazing. This is crazy down here, guys. Like, wow. You might as well turn it and kill me. Like, that's fine. But yeah, so they were finally going to do the Hop Joyce storyline, having them get together. And then, of course, Joyce just has the worst luck.
Her well, like that whole family.
They have like the worst luck with men. I mean, she has the worst luck with men. Like, her first husband was a-hole. And then Bob the hero.
Died too young.
Yep.
But it came back.
But
her practice role in flashbacks. It was nice.
Yeah, so she was still kind of mourning him in the beginning, and then by the end she was like, "Hey, Hop, you want to go out?"
Like that guy who with the beard, whatever his name is, like the conspiracy theory guy.
Oh yeah.
He's always like matchmaking everybody.
Oh yeah. He was just like, "Would you guys just get together already?" And I was like, "Wow, he did the same thing for Jonathan and Nancy too." So I was like, "Anybody else?" I will say I was kind of sad that they killed off Smirnoff because I liked
Not his name.
I know. Just because he would just seem like such like a little kid sometimes. He'd just be sitting there like with a big smile on his face and just enjoying America.
I want a cherry slushy, not a strawberry.
But then he gets to the fair and he's just like, oh, like what is this?
I want a prize.
Play games and I look at this and then
It's not rigged. I want a prize, and then he got shot.
Yeah. But yeah. So all in all, it was a good season. There was a few like small complaints. But nothing major. I mean, again, my biggest one is that Hopper hadn't seen like 11 since like episode 1. The same thing with like
they're very great parents, Same
thing with like Joyce and Will, and I don't even think Joyce interacted with Jonathan except for like that brief moment in the first episode, like. Even in the final episode, like she hugged Will and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be right back," and I was like, "Oh, she's gonna die." She didn't, but I thought she was going to.
Yeah, I kind of.
But then, like, we never saw her like, oh, Jonathan like hugging Jonathan or doing anything. It was just Will, and I was like, "Do you have another son, right?" Like, but then Joyce moved at the end. She adopted 11. They moved.
So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're going to be brought back in
obviously,
the fold, but
yeah.
how will they get brought? Or maybe not. Maybe they're going to go to Russia this season.
It's It's just about Hopper, like nobody else is in it.
Well, no, but I mean, somehow they all end up in Russia. I mean, who doesn't go on a big vacation with a lot of other families to Russia during a Cold War?
But yeah, so like they moved. The ending was sad because, you're seeing everybody saying goodbye to everybody. I'm confused, like, Jonathan has to be like 18 now, right? Or at least like maybe just now turned 18. Like, why did he didn't have to move? He was like,
he has no job. What does he have to do? Just live on the street?
Live in, like Nancy said, they could live in the basement.
Oh yeah.
So like him and Nancy
live in a little
are
space
now
that was
like,
only big enough for like a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, I'm like, are him and Nancy doing long distance? Like 11 and Mike are doing long distance. Like.
Oh yeah, but 11 has an unfair. She has an unfair advantage that she can do, but she doesn't have her powers anymore. So.
But. So they moved, which was like kind of like a plot point kind of throughout because Hopper brought it up to Joyce because she was fixing up her house to sell because she wanted out, which can't really blame her.
And then she was gonna stay because of Hopper, but then Hopper died, so she's like,
she's like, all right, well, this is enough. I can't stay here.
Like everyone I know dies.
I know. She's like, I'm never gonna get remarried here. Like all my boyfriends keep dying. But yeah, so. I guess we'll find out. I mean, it's the only thing that sucks about when you binge watch a series is that now I have to wait like at least a year, like
if not more,
if not longer. I doubt they're just gonna surprise everybody and drop a 4th season in like October, which would be nice, but like that's not gonna happen. So
we should space them out next time and watch one week. I know. Week.
So it's like now we have to wait a whole year, and now I want like. Now I feel so empty inside.
Now we have to binge watch seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Now I'm like, what do we watch next? I mean, I have Veronica Mars coming up. He doesn't watch that, but I have Veronica Mars coming up. Atypical season 3, I think, is coming in like August. I'm hoping, anyways.
I don't know. I have Series of Unfortunate Events. I'm behind on that.
But and then we're still watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. But so I don't know. I guess we have to just wait and find out what's gonna happen. It hasn't officially been picked up for a 4th season, but it's going to be picked up for 4th season. I mean, like, come on.
It has to be one of Netflix's bigger shows.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when it ends, it's going to be because the creators are going to be like, we're done. Like, I feel, I don't think Netflix would just
6 more seasons.
No. I mean, I think that they've talked
like
about...
in their 20s, and like, they're still like, we're still dealing with this crap.
I think that the creators have talked about ending it after, like, season 5. If they do a season 5, like, that would be the final season. They don't want to keep dragging this out, which I kind of hope that they don't drag it out. As much as I enjoy the series... You can't just keep dragging out the mind flayer and the demo, all that kind of stuff. Like there needs to be an end. Although I do kind of feel like the end might end with 11 like sacrificing herself.
She might.
Or will. But he's not doing anything.
They all die.
All the kids. Wins. But yeah.
Surprise, mind flayer.
Anyways, now we're just rambling. So let us know what you guys thought of the season. Do you guys have that was me banging on the table. That's like my...
Shop. It's 3 a.m.
What?
Like the infomercial. It's like 3 a.m. Like, I don't know. They always like slam on the counter.
Okay.
I don't know.
No idea.
You don't watch infomercials at 3 a.m.
I mean, I used to, back when, infomercials existed. But yeah, let us know. Ignore all this stuff.
I doubt there's anybody watching at this point. We're far enough in. Like we're like 37 minutes in. There's
the last like 10 minutes, it's just been us doing nothing. But yeah, so anyways, let us know if you've watched this long, what you guys thought. Favorite parts, things you disliked, things you hope to see in season 4. Let us know below in the comments. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.